Hello and welcome to another edition of Conspirator Brock's Pull List. This is my pull list for the week of March 11th, 2020. Fairly okay sized week this week, so let's get right into it. First up, we have Aquaman Giant number 3. DC's been pumping these out on a regular basis. I think they need to tone it back just a bit. A couple of Giants a month is all right, but I don't know if people are really going to get behind so many giant books out, or just in general, considering, like, for me, I'm mainly grabbing them for the brand new story that's in it, but I'm starting to get kind of like, do I really want these? Do I care about them? They're great for if you just want a spattering of that character and stories about that character, or stories surrounding that character. They're really good for. But as an ongoing thing, I think that DC needs to take it back just a bit. Next up, we have Batman and the Outsiders, number 11. Brian Hill's done an amazing job on this. Can't wait to see what he has in store, but good stuff coming from Batman and the Outsiders. Ennis and Hitch have done a great job on Batman's Grave, and number 6 of 12 comes out today. And it's sometimes there's not much dialogue, but it really just, the pacing of it is really good, and just storytelling is fantastic. Next up is a Bloodshot, number 7, and the movie comes out on Friday. For those of you watching this, I'm actually recording this on Thursday, so I'm going to go to see a showing of Bloodshot tonight at 7. I'm excited to see what we get from a non-DC, non-Marvel movie, especially from a company that is probably the third largest company with a continuity to it. I've really enjoyed most of the Valiant books I've read, and Bloodshot's really good out of it, so I'm curious to see how they did with this movie. Vin Diesel, I think, would fill the role nicely, so yeah, I'm super excited. So in roughly about 5 hours or so, I'm going to be watching Bloodshot. That's weird to say out loud. Yeah. Next up, we have Catwoman at number 21. Joelle Jones has done a fantastic job storytelling Catwoman. It's interesting. It's intriguing. When she draws it, it's amazing. But they've gotten some really solid talent to draw for when Joelle Jones is not drawing the book. If you haven't checked out Catwoman, you should. Next up is a facsimile edition for Detective Comics number 38. Of course, it's the first appearance of Robin, and the reason being is Robin's 80th anniversary is this year. The Robin 80-year anniversary Giant comes out next week, so be on the lookout for that. Robin's not necessarily one of my favorite characters in the DC universe, so I'm only getting, and this is going to seem weird, one copy of Robin 80, because I like the artist, but I'm not a huge Robin fan. So I'm going to get the Jim Lee cover, and that's pretty much it. So, but that's next week. But so be on the lookout for that. Next up, we have Flash, number 751. Joshua Williamson's done a fantastic job on Flash, even transitioning over to the legacy numbering. It's just really great stuff. If you haven't checked out Flash since Rebirth, you really need to. It's solid stuff. And I got caught up with issue 750, and now I'm super excited to jump into 751. Next up, we have Hawkman at number 22. Vendetti's done a fantastic job on Hawkman. I'm curious to see where it goes. I think the first story arc we got, big story arc we got for Hawkman was good, and then it kind of floundered in the middle with stuff that was going on with You're a Villain. So I'm hopeful that coming out of it we see something different, but he's still infected, so we'll see. Next up is A Manifest Destiny, number 42. Manifest Destiny is a fantastic book. If you're not reading it, you just go get the trades. It's solid stuff. Next up, I have one for my daughter, and that's Marvel Action Captain Marvel number 4. Looks like we have Miss Marvel, Captain Marvel teams up with Wasp in this. So hopefully my daughter likes it. Next up is Raw or Ray number 5. It's actually on my pile to read 3 and 4, so I'm just going to slide this one right in there with it. But it's basically following the stuff that happened to New Japan in the future in the Valiant universe. So, I've been really enjoying it. And again, most of the Valiant line is like a connected continuity, but it's they do a really good job with it and telling stories within it. Next up is Superman at number 21. I've gotten caught up with Superman, so I'm curious to see where it goes from here. He has revealed his identity, and we're kind of seeing the aftermath of that. But we'll see what going forward means for Superman. I have somebody, if you hear that thump, 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 that's my dog, Rogue. He is literally right here staring at me going, pet me, pet me, pet me. What? No, I'm doing my video. What? I'm doing my, can I finish my video first? Can I do that? Can I do it? Can I finish my video? Oh, okay. Oh, okay. All right. Hi. Okay. Hi. I can't finish my video. Can you? Okay. I got it. Okay. Hi. You big baby. You're just a big old baby. You're the big baby. Okay. Off. Good boy. All right. Thank you. He's a big baby. He wants attention all the time. Okay. Calm down. You're fine. Next up, it's funny enough, I'm almost done with the list, and he jumps right in. Next up, we have Terrifics number 26. I don't know why I'm still getting this. My hope is that it ends soon, and I'm hopeful it ends soon. It's okay. It's nothing great. I should have cut it off my pull list a long time ago, but now I'm kind of just stuck. I'm a completist, so yeah, it hurts, but I'll get through it. Yeah, Terrifics. Next up, we have Wonder Woman number 753. I have not yet gotten to. No, have I read this? Yes, I read past that. So I have caught up with Wonder Woman. It is what it is. There's some big news for Wonder Woman this week, and that was that I can never pronounce her name. Where's the book? Shoot. Oh well. She's the one that wrote Supergirl Being Super and the Harley Quinn Breaking Glass book. Hold on. Tamaki. Markio Tamaki. I probably butchered her name, but she's doing writing duties, and Mikel Hannon is doing art. Fantastic. That is a great creative team. I'm super stoked to see what happens with Wonder Woman coming from that creative team. So be on the lookout. I'm not sure exactly what issues they start with on those, but I'll let you know once it gets closer to time and once it's solicited. So next up and finally on the pull list is Young Justice number 14. And it looks like we're introducing some more Young Justice characters to the roster. So yeah, Bendis has done it. Oh. Okay, that was a sneeze. It wasn't a cough. I don't have corona. Craze is going on, but I'll talk about that in a minute. But let me finish. Bendis has done a great job on Young Justice. It's fun. It's teenage stuff. If you like that, check out Young Justice. It's really what Teen Titans should be. Not that Teen Titans is bad, but it needs a little bit of a boost. Adam Glass has done a fair job on it, but I like Adam Glass on more serious stuff with adults, not teens. I did pick up some variant covers this week, and Batman and the Outsiders had a variant cover that was sideways for issue 11, featuring Ra's al Ghul. Batman's Grave had a pretty cool variant there with Batman holding a very intense-looking Batarang. Flash 751 had a variant there. Oh, I guess that's out of order. And Catwoman 21 had a variant, so I snagged those up as well. I did have one thing that was on my reading list, and that is Jonathan Hickman's Decorum from Image Comics. I'm going to give it a try. We'll see. Hickman's track record when he's working on a lot of stuff is not good. Him starting a brand new sci-fi looking Image book while he's plotting everything that's going on at the Marvel Universe, to me seems like just not the best course of action as a writer, especially when you write a lot and you have a track record of not necessarily pumping out stuff when you should. I know he finished East of West, and this is kind of maybe his Image title that's replacing it. But if he's not going to have the consistency, I don't foresee it going anywhere. And speaking of Hickman, X-Men, the next issue of X-Men came out, which is I think 8 or 9. I think it's 8. Came out this week. I already read it, and man, it's probably the issue that's going to make me stop reading the X books. I'll keep reading X Force, and I may read one more issue of X-Men, but woof. The stuff that happened in that book, just of all the stuff that's going on with the X-Men and coming out of Hawks and Pox, and it just, there's a level of disappointment that I think is going through the X books right now, that a lot of people are just feeling this, oh, we were going to get something, and Hawks and Pox gave us this kind of expectation, and what has come after has not even hit that close. The Young Cable book that was released this week, Charlie, the #1 Cable fan on the podcast, Comics Conspiracy podcast, he didn't even order it. He's like, Young Cable's a joke. He doesn't even want it. A lot of X-Men readers and a lot of Marvel readers are disenfranchised, especially with these huge promises that are not delivered on. So we'll see going forward, but man, was that last issue of X-Men rough. Not to mention that the cult mentality and the party mentality that they put in that book behind the X-Men, it's just, it doesn't feel right. It feels exceedingly forced, and Jonathan Hickman is a great writer, but I don't know if he's bitten off more than he can chew, or if he's changed a lot, or if he just, I don't know. It's rough. So yeah, so that's my update on that. I did grab a graphic novel, and it's a straight to graphic novel original content, and that is the DC Superhero Girls Powerless. This one I got from my daughter. It's the DC Kids line. So that's out today in comic book stores, so you can check that out. I actually, since I have it out here, I wanted to show people that the kids books for DC and the teen books for DC, or the young adult ones, are different sized. So Zoom was going to be the kids one, Ink was going to be the teen one, or the young adult one, which they've done away with. So now it's just DC Kids and DC Teen. Or it's graphic novels for kids and graphic novels for teens. But you'll notice the size difference. Let me move them together. So the ones for kids are the smaller size, and then the young adult are the larger size. And then, of course, a trade paperback would be slightly bigger than that. So that's kind of how they're doing it. I don't mind that. I think it's a decent way to go about doing it. But yeah, for those of you that are curious as to what that is, not that you were curious at all, they are changing the size of it. So if you have a tiny one, it's a kid's book. If you have a middle-sized one, it's a young adult. I did pick up something that I got a while ago that's been sitting on my aside at the store, and I haven't picked it up yet. It's been on the shelf to see if we could sell it. Not because I didn't want it, but just because at the time I didn't really need to pick it up. But that is the Jeff Lemire Omnibus, Animal Man by Jeff Lemire Omnibus, right here, this $100 sucker. What can I say? This is an amazing, amazing run on a character, and if you have not yet checked it out, I highly recommend it. Jeff Lemire just took the Animal Man character and made me, he was always kind of in there. I read a little bit of the Morrison stuff. I hadn't actually read any of the I hadn't read any of the Morrison stuff before that. My exposure to Animal Man was from DC's 52 and Countdown, stuff like that. So getting into the new 52 Jeff Lemire run was fantastic. That even drove me to go read the Morrison stuff, which is really good as well. So definitely one of those runs that's something you should pick up, because it is fantastic. And there's a nice, decent collection of it. So that's it for this week. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Leave your comments down in the comment section below. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you picked up. Let me know how you're feeling in this world of we're supposed to be isolating ourselves and quarantining ourselves because of the coronavirus. I know Corona has hit us at the Comic Conspiracy Podcast, because one of our hosts' work trip was canceled. Our guest host's work trip was canceled, and so he was not able to be on the show physically, and we didn't get a chance to set up for him to Skype in. But yeah, that was hard to stomach. The shop was a little bit slow from what I heard from Ryan this week. People just not coming in. But if you're local, if you want, just so you know, contact your local shop. A lot of shops, will be affected by people not going out and stuff like that. And I know for us that even local people, we will ship to local people. So if you feel like not going out and not doing that stuff, feel free to, call in, purchase your books and we'll ship them to you and get them to you quick. That way, while you're down or while you're at home, isolated, not supposed to be going anywhere, doing anything, you got some stuff to read. So, and that also helps out the comic stores because you might not physically be in the store buying something, but you did buy something. And as for me, shipping out, I expect to ship out a little bit more than I normally do. So contact your local shop, see if they're doing it. I know at Comics Conspiracy, we are doing that. I know Isotope Comics up in San Francisco is doing it. So, hey, it helps out the small business and you get your books, even if it's a few days later. So, please, you can, if you like listening to me here and want to hear more, go over to, you can listen to me on the Comics Conspiracy podcast. We just finished recording episode 444, where we talk, what did we talk about this week? The Emerald City cancellation due to the coronavirus. A bunch of cancellations coming up. WonderCon was actually canceled today, or a lot of this stuff we say canceled, but a lot of it's postponed. I know NHL, everything is kind of just the wheels are turning and grinding to a halt. I went to Costco yesterday and there was barely anything in the rafters. And you go to Costco and there's always stuff in the rafters, so it's kind of crazy. We talked about that stuff. We answered a bunch of listener questions. So so check that out. There's a link in the description below. You can help me and my fellow conspirators out through Patreon at www.patreon.com/comicsconspiracy. For as little as $1 a month, you help us with hosting fees, getting food sometimes, and also getting products. So thank you very much to all of our Patreon backers. It helps out immensely. Speaking of helping out, you can click on any of the Amazon links here at conspiratorbrock.com. That helps me out directly. I'll get some Amazon money to buy stuff like, I don't know, poop bags for my dog or pants or a Blu-ray or whatever. Amazon, you order just random half the time. So everyone who does that, thank you very much. It is helpful. And you can also go over to my eBay page and pick up something there that I'm purging out of my collection that you might like, and that helps me out as well. Speaking of helping out, my kids are doing their walkathon. They were supposed to do it at the end of the month. That's been postponed, but we're still doing fundraising for it. So I believe the cutoff date is the 27th, but that might have changed due to the postponement of the walkathon. But there will be 2 links in the description below. One is for my son Brody's walkathon donation page online, and one it will be for my daughter Haddie's walkathon page online. I think the minimum is a $5 donation. It's a flat donation is perfectly fine. We don't need you to do a per lap donation. Flat is fine. My kids love just getting to that $100 increment and being able to slime their principal or silly string their principal. This year it's sliming. I think a few years ago it was silly stringing. Has been the past few years. So they get a kick out of that. It's a good thing, all of that stuff. If you guys help out and they get over that, and that'd be amazing. But they really just want to hit that $100 mark so that they can get to sliming their principal. So again, 2 links in the description below. One is for my daughter's page, one is for my son's page. So click on those and donate if you can. That'd be awesome. If not, share it with your friends. See if they can help out. You can follow me on Twitter. My handle's @BrockSager. You can also ask me questions here. Hit me up there. Hope everybody stays safe during this coronavirus thing that's going on. I noticed I've been washing my hands a little bit more and trying to be a little, not necessarily standoffish from people, but, not necessarily like hanging and like hovering around people. But just take safety precautions. If you do feel sick, go in and get tested. Hopefully those testing things will be taken care of and it'll be a nice, easy breeze to do that, but who knows? So, yeah, we're fingers crossed on my end that things go smooth. But stay safe out there. Enjoy. If you get some time off, enjoy your time off. Hopefully you get some paid time off. And hopefully this passes us by and we all are change our habits enough that maybe necessarily the next virus doesn't spread as bad. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you next week.